Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the channel. Molly Boy TV here. Today we're reacting to the one and only Bob Seger again. This one is old time rock and roll. The first Bob Seger reaction we did was Turn the Page. I'll be God's honest truth, yeah, God's honest truth. I actually am really surprised that I enjoy that song. It's a bit slower than the stuff I usually listen to, but that I will find myself at least once a day singing Turn the Page in my head. Or out loud. There's something special about Bob Seger. I don't know what it is. Is it his vocals? I don't know. Is it the era of music? Like, is it the time that he was around? Is it that style of music? I don't know. But I've never heard Bob Seger vocals on the sort of music that he does. Like, he's just, I don't know, the deep singing voice, everything just goes so well with each other. So this is the third one we've done. We've obviously done Turn the Page, we've done Night Moves, and now we're doing Old Time Rock and Roll. So I hope you enjoy this one. I'm not going to waffle though. We're just going to get straight into it. So if you do, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button. But other than that, mate, let's go!
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I don't understand why every time I turn this, like, I have the camera straight on at me and the level will be fine. I'll just turn it to face, so like I can put the video here, and then it goes wonky and I have to adjust the camera again. Stupid. You know what's crazy as well though? I've never seen Bob Seger like that. Never seen him with long hair. I think he had shorter hair in the Turn the Page album cover. Maybe this is a whole different era of Bob Seger. Maybe it's going to sound completely different. I kind of hope not. I do like that Turn the Page sound. Anyway, Old Time Rock and Roll, let's go. Piano.
Just take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time of rock and roll.
Go again. The way this just came in, wasn't expecting that.
Just take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time of rock and roll.
Oh, tell me about it, bro.
Take me to a disco. You'll never even get me out on the floor.
Turn this up, man.
10 minutes, I'll be late for the door. I like that old time of rock and roll. Still like that old time of rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes my soul.
Bro, I want to rewind again. This is mad. The vocals are nowhere near the same as Turn the Page. This feels like it's a different vibe, but also the same sort of vibe. This is a lot more upbeat. Should we rewind one more time? Go on.
Just take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time of rock and roll.
Mate.
Don't try to take me to a disco. You'll never even get me out on the floor. In 10 minutes, I'll be late for the door. I like that old time of rock and roll. Still like that old time of rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes my soul.
I really like the piano in the
I
background.
reminisce about the days of old with that old time of rock and roll. Won't go to hear 'em play a tango.
There was something I just heard in that guitar solo, you know. I had a comment yesterday about stop rewinding and pausing as much. And I've said this plenty of times, so I don't know why I'm saying it again. You can't come to a reaction channel and complain when somebody gives you a reaction. There was a part in this solo just, yeah. I don't even know what the proper terms would be, and I can imagine there would be a proper term for this, but it seemed as though the usual sequence of the notes were there, then all of a sudden there was an extra note in between two. It was kind of like, it was, yeah, just listen, and I'll try and point it out if I hear it again.
With that old time of rock and roll.
This is the catchiest stuff I've heard though so far. Ready? It just happened. It was like, no. It's the little things like that.
Won't go to hear 'em play a tango. I'd rather hear some blues or funky old soul. There's only
Why does his vocals in this one sound... No, you know what? I'm going to rephrase that. Why is it every song I listen to, the vocals sound more soulful? Like, the vocals sounded really soulful in Turn the Page. Turn the Page was like, damn, like, I ain't heard something this beautiful in a long time. Then we heard Night Moves, which can't... His vocal seemed a little bit more soulful in that. And then in this, he's like proper... You can hear the emphasis on some of the words as well. How I noticed as if he's pulling the vocals from his actual chest. I didn't know you made music like this, bruv. Bob, I did not know you made music like this. Rock and roll. And then I'm going to say saxophone solo as well. I think this is hard because I really like Turn the Page, but this is really good as well. I'm going to add it to the playlist though right now, quickly, before we carry on. If you guys want to see the playlist, remember the link's in the description. We've got some amazing music there. Best playlist you'll ever hear, trust me. Old time rock and roll. Molly Boy TV's playlist. I realise you can't see when I'm over there. Done. Boom. That's another Bob Seger banger added. Mate, this geezer's like what, 70s and 80s? I think. I don't know, man. I just feel like I've heard a lot of 70s and 80s tunes as well, but for some reason a lot of people ain't doing it like Bob Seger's done it. Bob Seger just has that. He has this like special vibe to it whenever he does these songs, bro. This being one of them, 100%. I really like this one. It's really, I'm torn between this and Turn the Page. They're completely two different styles though. So I think I'm not going to compare them. But this is a nice fresh side of Bob Seger that I haven't seen yet. Just go on, man.
Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes my soul. I reminisce about the days of old with that old time rock and roll.
Like, add a saxophone.
Kind of music just soothes my soul.
Add a saxophone to any classic rock song.
I reminisce about the days of old with that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes my soul. I reminisce about the days of old
The cowbell in the background.
old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes my soul. I reminisce about the days of old with that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll.
Nah, that's too short. That is too short. I'm sure this is the only version though. I look for longer versions now when I'm doing reactions. I'm sure this is the only version. This is the only one I've seen. That was way too short. That was Bob Seger's old time rock and roll. I was kind of expecting another one like Turn the Page. I didn't know Bob Seger was making music like this, I'm not going to lie. Night Moves was pretty good as well, but I didn't know Bob Seger was making it like this. I can see this one being a radio hit, I'm not going to lie. The 3 minutes, perfect. The catchy hook, perfect. It was very repetitive as well, which I don't think I've heard yet from Bob Seger. I don't think I've heard repetitive music. I can't believe he's got long hair. There was just a thumbnail and I'm sure it said Night Moves on it, but he's got long hair in that one too. I don't feel like I've ever seen Bob Seger with hair like this, bro. I just remember him from Turn the Page. Oh, the vocals and everything are different on this. Like, there's such massive comparisons you could do from Turn the Page to this. It's no point even choosing a favourite between those two. Because, like, Turn the Page was, what, the softer vocals. You only really heard him really go in towards the end of Turn the Page. And that part was like, oh, so he can hit those notes. And then pretty much the whole song, the vocals just felt, like, not growly, but just raspy and... Like I said, bro, some of those notes that he was hitting felt like he was pulling them from his chest. Really, really going in with it with those vocals. Definitely a more upbeat kind of song, man. Definitely. I liked everything about that. I was really shocked to hear a saxophone in it, not going to lie. And I've heard quite a lot of saxophones in classic rock now. And I did say in the video, I don't know if anyone would, if you would have caught me say it, if it was too loud, the volume or anything, but I've started to realise that saxophone solos with classic rock, ugh. I mean, look at Chicago, 25 or 64. That was a whole, like, fucking jazz band in that song. I didn't know that it happened, like it worked. You got people like this proving me wrong. I tell you something, I need to crack open a drink for this one. Coke, when are you going to sponsor me? Seriously, man. My favourite part of that though, I'm going to have to say The old time rock and roll part was my favourite part. And like, I'm not going to say that the vocals were softer before that lyric, because they weren't. They were quite harder and harsher vocals, but in that old time rock and roll part, the emphasis at the end of that, or like, no, the emphasis at the start of it, when he says old, it's as if he's really going for it, brother. That's too good, man. I can't lie. I really do like Bob Seger, you know. I never would have thought that I would be listening to 70s, 80s classic rock and saving it to playlists and actually like blasting it in my car and stuff. There's people my age here that must see me drive past them thinking, who is this guy? What is he doing? Like, nobody my age is listening to this sort of music, especially where I'm from. They might still think I'm weird, but actually they're the weird ones because they're missing out. I'm telling you now. That was Bob Seger's Old Time Rock and Roll. I really enjoyed that one. I had to add that one to the playlist halfway through because I didn't want to forget. A lot of times I do these videos and I'll forget to add them to the playlists, and then I have to do it afterwards. So like, you guys won't actually know unless you check the playlist if I enjoyed it that much or not. I like this Bob Seger stuff. We've actually got, I think it's all 70s stuff. 70s and 80s stuff today that I'm reacting to, so this is going to be a really good day because I really do enjoy the classic rock. I mean, don't get me wrong, the channel started on heavy metal and I got heavy into that, but then we went on to like this classic rock journey and I was like, you know what, rock doesn't always just have to be hardcore rock, do you know what I mean? Like, you can have joyful and more upbeat rock. I mean, it gets to a point where it's questionable, but that doesn't happen until like the 2000s, so we don't talk about that. But this was nice. I really like this. That was Bob Seger's Old Time Rock and Roll. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to request some more Bob Seger in the comments. I really like this guy. All the music I've heard from him so far has been straight bangers, so I need to hear more. And yeah, throw some information at me if you think I don't know it. There's still going to be absolutely loads that I don't know. Just because I know names doesn't mean that I know a lot. I'm going to leave it there. It was your boy, Mollyboy TV. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.